All right, let's dive deep into Bitcoin.
Sounds good.
We're going on a journey exploring how money evolved,
Okay.
leading right into this digital revolution happening now.
Right.
And to guide us, we've got this awesome documentary by ENDEVR, it's called,
Yeah.
Bitcoin, The End of Money as We Know It.
I like that title.
Get ready, because we're going to discover
Yeah.
how Bitcoin challenges. Like
Great.
everything we thought we knew about money, about finance,
Right.
maybe even trust itself.
You know what I find super fascinating about Bitcoin?
Yeah.
It forces us to kind of confront like the very nature of money. I
Yeah.
mean, we just take it for granted, right?
Totally.
But money has evolved
Yeah.
dramatically over centuries.
Right, sure.
And, each evolution kind of reflects these shifting dynamics
Yeah.
of power and control in society.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, we just use it every day
Yeah.
without thinking much about it at all.
Yeah.
This documentary takes us way back to bartering, like,
Oh, yeah.
trading a chicken for a haircut.
Right.
But, things got complicated fast.
They always do.
There's got to be a reason why we don't use yak dung as currency.
Right. Yeah. Well, bartering,
Yeah.
it had its limits.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't carry around a cow in your pocket.
True.
So commodity money, like,
Okay.
cacao beans or shells,
Yeah.
emerged as a more practical solution.
Right.
These early forms of money
Mm-hmm.
had like 5 key characteristics.
5, okay.
They had to be scarce, durable, portable,
Okay.
divisible, and recognizable.
So I guess yak dung failed the portable test.
And recognizable, probably.
Kidding, but
Yeah.
I can see how those characteristics,
Mm-hmm.
they still apply to money today.
Yeah.
Even like Bitcoin and other digital currencies.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And with the introduction of coins,
Yeah.
we see the centralization of power coming into play.
Interesting.
Governments,
Yeah.
they started minting coins, and that effectively gave them control of the money supply,
Right.
linking economic power with political authority.
Right. So money equals power.
Always.
The documentary highlights the Medici family.
Oh, yeah.
Those Renaissance, power players.
Mhm.
They weren't just art patrons.
Yeah.
They were financial masterminds too.
Right?
They built a banking empire
Yeah.
on this system of trust and credit.
The Medici are like a prime example of how private entities can exert so much influence over the
Right.
flow of money
Yeah.
and like the direction of economies.
Yeah.
I mean, they were operating centuries before central banks even existed.
That's crazy.
Yet their system, it was remarkably sophisticated.
Wow. But then things get really interesting.
How so?
When governments need more money than they actually have,
Okay.
enter government bonds,
Right.
and suddenly we're talking sovereign debt.
Exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
war and empire building, they're expensive.
For sure.
So governments started issuing these bonds,
Right.
basically borrowing
Mhm.
against future tax revenue,
Wow.
which led to the accumulation of debt
Yeah.
that we're still dealing with today.
It's mind-boggling to think that the U.S. dollar
Mm-hmm.
was once backed by gold.
It's true.
You could literally exchange paper money for gold.
Right.
But then 1971,
Yeah.
Nixon ended that,
He did.
and the dollar became fiat currency.
That was a pivotal moment in monetary history.
It is
Nixon's
true.
decision
Yeah.
basically meant that the U.S. dollar's value is based solely on trust in the government.
Wow.
It's fascinating
Yeah.
because it shows how money,
Yeah.
at its core,
Yeah.
is a social construct
Right.
based on shared belief.
So our entire financial system relies on faith in the government.
Pretty much.
That's a lot of pressure on trust.
It is.
And then the documentary drops this bomb,
What's up?
fractional reserve banking.
Okay, this is where things get a little mind-bending.
Yeah.
Fractional reserve banking allows banks to lend out way more money than they actually have in reserves.
Well,
It's a system that actually creates new money as debt.
wait, so they're lending out money that doesn't exist?
Yeah, pretty much.
How is that even possible?
Okay, think of it this way.
Okay.
You deposit $100 in your bank.
Okay.
The bank is required to keep a small percentage, like let's say 10%,
Okay.
as reserves.
Okay.
But they can lend out the other 90
For someone else.
to someone else. Exactly. And then that $90
Yeah.
gets deposited into another account.
Right.
And the process just repeats.
Wow.
And it effectively multiplies.
So most of the money That's in circulation.
Right.
It doesn't even exist as physical cash.
It doesn't.
It's just digits.
It's all digital.
In a computer.
Yeah.
Backed by promises to pay.
Right.
It's unsettling.
It is.
To realize our financial system is built on this.
Virtual founders.
And that's exactly the point.
Yeah.
That this documentary drives home.
Okay.
This system.
Yeah.
It's inherently vulnerable to these booms and busts.
Right.
You know, when trust erodes,
Yeah.
things can unravel really quickly.
Like 2008.
Exactly, like we saw during that financial crisis.
It is fascinating.
It is.
And a little terrifying
Yeah.
to see how virtual money creation and risky lending played a role in that whole meltdown.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder if we're really in control of our financial destiny.
And that is the question
Okay.
that Bitcoin seeks to answer.
Okay.
It's a radical departure from traditional systems.
Right.
Offering this decentralized alternative that really challenges the very foundation of finance.
And that's where we'll pick up
Okay.
in part 2 of our deep dive.
Sounds good.
Get ready to explore how Bitcoin aims to revolutionize
everything we thought we knew about money.
All right.
Welcome back to our Bitcoin deep dive.
It's getting interesting.
So far, we've traveled through the entire history of money. And, you know, we've seen how our current systems are potentially vulnerable.
Yeah.
But now it's time to explore.
All right.
How Bitcoin wants to disrupt this whole game.
I like it. Bitcoin, it presents like a fundamentally different approach to finance. One that's decentralized, transparent, and built on this revolutionary technology of, you know, blockchain.
Blockchain. Let's break that down, because I think that's where a lot of people get lost. The documentary describes it as a digital ledger. But what makes it so special?
Okay, imagine a public library where anyone can access these records, but no single person can change them.
Interesting.
That's blockchain. It's this distributed database spread across a network of computers, making it incredibly secure and transparent.
So instead of relying on a bank or a government to validate our transactions, we're essentially trusting this network of computers to keep things honest.
That's a huge shift.
It is.
In how we even think about trust.
It is. That's what makes Bitcoin so disruptive.
It takes the power away from those centralized institutions and puts it back in the hands of individuals.
This documentary dives into Bitcoin mining.
Yeah.
And it sounds like a digital gold rush.
It kind of is.
Miners are competing to solve these complex math problems, to verify transactions and add them to the blockchain.
It's a fascinating system. You know, it incentivizes participation. And it ensures the integrity of the network. Miners, they invest their computing power to secure the blockchain. And they get rewarded with newly minted Bitcoins.
It's like a self-regulating system.
It is.
Where everyone benefits from contributing to the network's security.
Exactly.
But what are the real-world implications? This documentary highlights some really interesting use cases.
Let's hear them.
One of the most compelling is international remittances.
Oh, yeah.
Traditional services charge these huge fees.
Yeah, they do.
Especially for smaller transactions.
It's a problem.
Bitcoin cuts out the middleman. Allowing people to send money across borders quickly and cheaply.
And easily.
Yeah.
It's great.
The documentary features this woman in the Philippines who receives money from her son who's working overseas. And with Bitcoin, the fees are tiny. And the money arrives almost instantly.
That's a game changer.
It is.
For millions of people who depend on those remittances.
It's about financial inclusion.
Exactly.
Providing access to affordable financial services to people who have been excluded from traditional banking.
You got it.
Another powerful use case is disaster relief.
Oh, yeah.
We've seen how Bitcoin donations were used to provide aid after the earthquake in Nepal, bypassing bureaucratic hurdles.
Exactly.
Getting funds straight out.
The people in need.
It's a testament to the efficiency and transparency of Bitcoin.
It allows for that rapid response in times of crisis, empowering individuals to contribute to relief efforts.
The documentary also explores how Bitcoin is being used to support freedom of speech and protect against censorship. Especially in countries
with repressive regimes.
With repressive regimes, exactly.
Journalists and activists can use Bitcoin to receive donations and to operate independently, bypassing government control or financial restrictions.
These examples paint a very optimistic picture.
They do.
Of Bitcoin's potential. But let's be realistic.
Okay.
The documentary doesn't shy away from the concerns.
Right. We need to acknowledge the potential risks and challenges.
Bitcoin's anonymity, while empowering, also raises concerns about
its use in illegal activities.
Like money laundering or funding criminal enterprises.
It's a valid concern.
It is a valid concern.
The documentary mentions the Silk Road, where Bitcoin was used to facilitate these illegal drug sales. It's a good reminder that every new technology has the potential
to be misused.
For misuse, exactly.
And that's where regulation comes in.
Governments around the world are trying to figure out how to strike that balance between fostering innovation and mitigating the risks with these cryptocurrencies.
It's a tough balance.
It is.
Too much regulation could stifle innovation, but too little
could leave consumers vulnerable
to fraud and manipulation,
to all sorts of bad stuff.
Finding that sweet spot will be crucial for the future of Bitcoin.
And all cryptocurrencies.
So we've explored both the inspiring possibilities and the valid concerns surrounding Bitcoin. But this documentary goes beyond just these practical applications. It delves into the philosophical stuff. Implications of this whole technology.
That's where it gets really interesting.
That's what we'll explore in part 3 of our deep dive. It sounds good.
Get ready, because we're going to venture into uncharted territory.
I'm ready.
As we examine how Bitcoin challenges our fundamental assumptions about trust, value, and the future of society itself.
Okay.
All right. Welcome back to the final part of our Bitcoin deep dive.
Here we go.
We've, gone through the evolution of money, explored how Bitcoin works, and grappled with its real-world implications.
It's been a journey.
But now it's time to step back.
All right.
And kind of ponder the big picture.
The big picture,
What does Bitcoin tell us about the future of trust and power and, how we organize society?
I think that's where this documentary really pushes us to think beyond just the practical stuff of cryptocurrency. And into this realm of
like philosophy and social evolution.
So Bitcoin's not just a tool. It's like a catalyst for change.
For change,
Challenging assumptions. About how our world works.
The documentary really frames Bitcoin as like a shift from these centralized power structures to decentralized networks.
Okay, I'm following you.
We've relied on, governments and institutions.
Banks.
Like banks, exactly. To be these middlemen, validating transactions, maintaining order. But Bitcoin, it suggests this different path.
Okay, what path is that?
A world where trust isn't placed in a single entity, but distributed.
Across a network.
Across a network, It's like...
It's about power, shifting from the few to the many.
So individuals can...
individuals can...
Interact
without needing permission.
Without needing permission.
From a central authority.
Exactly.
It's almost like going back to the roots.
To the roots of human interaction.
But with today's tech...
We're going
back to peer-to-peer.
Peer-to-peer exchange.
But on
a global scale.
Field scale.
Secured by cryptography and blockchain.
The documentary hints at Bitcoin. Empowering the unbanked.
Absolutely.
Providing access
to financial services.
For those excluded.
Excluded from the traditional systems.
Imagine a world where your financial identity isn't tied to a bank.
But it's
secured on a blockchain.
On a blockchain that you control.
But this level of decentralization.
It is exciting, but it's also...
a little unnerving.
A little unnerving,
What happens to
What happens to the role of government?
Yeah.
In this world.
In this world.
Where trust is distributed.
And individuals have...
It's more autonomy.
More autonomy.
Right.
How do we ensure accountability?
Yeah, accountability.
Prevent abuse.
It's tough.
Those are some really crucial questions.
They are.
And the answers...
The answers aren't simple.
Bitcoin forces us...
Yeah, it forces us
to confront these issues, reevaluate our relationship...
with
authority, and consider new models.
For governance.
Governance.
Yeah.
And social organization.
The documentary talks about programmable money.
Okay.
And smart contracts.
It's pretty mind-blowing.
Mind-blowing, right?
Imagine contracts that just execute.
Automatically.
Or certain conditions are
DeFi chains.
That are trackable.
And still time-immersed.
In real time. Or even machines.
Machines.
That pay each other.
That can pay each other.
Seamlessly.
It's a vision of the future.
Yeah.
Where trust is...
Embedded
in the technology itself.
Yeah.
Minimizing the need...
For those intermediaries.
Right. Potentially reducing
corruption.
Even efficiency.
Inefficiency.
But it also raises questions about like...
Unintended consequences.
Unintended consequences. What happens when...
What if a smart contract malfunctions?
Or someone...
Yeah, or it gets exploited by some bad actor.
How do we make sure...
Yeah, how do we ensure...
that these systems are resilient?
Right, and adapt...
to unforeseen...
circumstances,
right?
It's crucial to acknowledge these potential risks.
Of these new technologies. We need robust security.
Security, ethical framework.
Continuous innovation.
To mitigate these risks.
To make sure these systems...
benefit humanity as a whole.
It feels like...
It does.
We're standing on the edge...
on the precipice.
A new era. Where...
the rules are being rewritten.
Yeah, the rules are changing.
And the possibilities.
Possibilities are exciting.
Exciting
and daunting.
Daunting. It's a time.
A time for cautious optimism.
Cautious optimism.
And a willingness to engage with complex questions.
And that's the beauty of this deep dive. It's not about
getting
calculative answers.
But encouraging us
to explore.
Question. And participate.
Yeah, participate in shaping this future.
So as we conclude our Bitcoin exploration...
We'll leave you with a final
question.
Thought-provoking question.
If Bitcoin isn't just about currency...
what else could be transformed?
What other aspects of our lives?
By decentralized, transparent systems.
What are the benefits?
The benefits and risks.
Of a world where trust...
is embedded.
Is built into the technology.
Those are some questions...
worth thinking about.
Worth pondering. This uncharted
territory.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
On this deep dive into the world of Bitcoin.
We hope you found it
enlightening,
thought-provoking,
and maybe even a little mind-bending.
Until next time,
keep those brains buzzing.
Keep those curiosity gears turning.
And remember,
the best deep dives
are the ones that leave you
wanting to learn more.